closer to 30. So thank you. We all have very hard work to do, and I'm in it with you all the way. Thanks so much.
Please keep standing for me to introduce our great Governor Barbara Roberts, we're gonna move into the award ceremony tonight. Thank you for everybody who's here. Please give it up for Governor Barbara Roberts.
Across the entire nation at every level of government. And more women are going to be elected to office than in any election year in American history. And one of the major factors in those hundreds of successes is going to be the impact created by thousands and thousands of young political activists. Their voices, their shoe leather, their marches, their commitment, organization, and just plain hard work are going to change this country. And tonight I have the privilege and honor to honor and introduce one of the amazing examples of America's and Oregon's new, activated, committed, democratic, young movers and shakers across this country. John Knight comes to us from Tennessee and Kansas City, but he is an Oregonian by choice. And all of us should be grateful for his decision to move west. His advocacy runs deep and it runs strong, protecting the environment, standing up for women's reproductive rights, a voice for the homeless, and knowing and speaking up for the rights of workers and labor unions. And his skills and dedication, focused on the Neighborhood Leader Program in Multnomah County, will no doubt tip the scales in some very close and some very critical races in this election year. John Knight doesn't just talk a good game. He delivers the product. And he does it for the county party, for the state central committee, and for the work of our Democratic platform committees at both the state and local level. It is with real enthusiasm that I present the Barbara Roberts Young Democrats Award to John Knight, a leader in progress, a leader for the future.
Thank you. And thank you, Governor. I was canvassing not too many days ago, and I knocked on a door. This little girl looked at me. She saw my buttons, and she said, "Are you a Girl Scout like my big sister?" And I was like, that is an amazing compliment. So when I learned that I was being considered for this award, I tried to decline it, as many of you know, or recommend someone like Caroline Fry instead. I tried to claim a technicality on being too old, but as the Monty Python boys say, I'm not old, I'm 37. Governor Roberts was elected to the Park Rose School Board, if I'm correct, at 36. And it's my Southern upbringing, really, that tells me to reject accolades and try to accept criticism. It's that same upbringing that tells me that a responsibility accepted is one that should be kept. I appreciate everyone's work that brings us here tonight, but I'd like us to take a moment to remember that we are privileged to enjoy this evening on lands taken from the Cathlamet, the Orshanook, Clatsop, Willapa, Wakaikum, Multnomah, Clackamas, Tualatin, Kalapuya, and Molalla, and I'm sure I'm missing several. With love for each and all of you, I hope to continue an important conversation about our message and contribute to the DIM's stated purpose, the open exchange of ideas. I've been politically active since high school. Political parties, campaigns, protests, organizing, donations. But the 2016 elections showed me two things: the vulnerability of our political processes and the kinetic power of community set free. I got involved in the Multnomah Dems, #DimEnter. See, I'm young. I'm reading this from an iPad. So many young people considered dim entering too. Some are still here. So where are the rest of our young people? Study after study shows millennials work more for less than previous generations. School, debt, social life. Some are behind bars, the school-to-prison pipeline, pawns of the criminal injustice system. Others are organizing with each other, with Portland Tenants United, 350 PDX, on campus, with Democratic Socialists of America, and many, many others. We must remember the Democratic Party is not a club, not the home team to which we must maintain unrepentant loyalty. The Democratic Party is a tool shed. All the tools currently at our disposal and all the tools we are currently developing: Neighborhood Leader Program, Amy's Actions, improved bylaws, an awesome website, Community Action Committee, and all the nuts and bolts. We need to consider how they connect to younger adults as well as parents with younger children. And sometimes, when tools no longer serve their purpose, it's okay to repurpose or replace them. % of millennials prefer collaboration to make the world a better place, over competition and hierarchy. This goes against the grain of many traditional organizations that spend more time competing internally instead of against their outside competition. So, which kind of collaborative team do we need to be? In 2 years, millennials will be 40% of the workforce, but the workforce and our pool of active volunteers are not the same. When we hear cliches like blue no matter who, young people don't trust our integrity. When we still take piles of donations and still haven't passed public financing and campaign contribution caps in Oregon, they don't trust our ethics. While we still have both houses, the governorship and most statewide positions, and a monopoly of local positions in Multnomah, but we cannot manage to stabilize rents, provide stable public housing options, turn all current and future utilities to public ownership, they wonder what we have been doing with the power that Gen Y and Gen X have given us with their votes. If we want young people to be more involved in the Democratic Party, we must free them up to do so. Raise the state and federal minimum wage to a living family wage. Based on a standard metric, MIT's calculator says $19 an hour for a single parent with a child in Oregon. How about we fight for 20 by 2020? And as Nina Turner says, the whole damn dollar. But that's not the whole solution. We must go into our community to join with those underrepresented by the vast majority in this room. Tuitionless university and advanced technical education for all interested students. Real career support services to directly identify and place graduates into career goal-oriented post-secondary and post-collegiate employment. Rent-stabilized, socially owned, tenant-operated land trust homes in communities that haven't lost their character to gentrification. And a single-payer Medicare for all system without a health insurance marketplace getting in the way. Those will free us up to be activists of our Democratic Party without having to give up on starting families, as I have had to do. Economists Stephanie Kelton and Bill Black say, don't ask how we will pay for it, build an economy that will support it. Economist Richard Wolff encourages us to build democracy into our workplaces and into the way we develop our local economies. My friends and colleagues, I'm going to be honest, I'm talking about democratic socialism. I've got a red card here, so. Most young folks who are politically active want their activism to count. We know the most impactful activity is to elect candidates who align with our own personal platforms. But when they don't have faith in our politicians, what then? Our young activists are involved elsewhere, trying to solve their problems of their times, sometimes because they don't think we will. We must inspire them through our action. Next week's DPO Platform Convention will produce a wonderful document, a great coffee table edition. Or it could become a souvenir of a great leftward movement in the Democratic Party of our state. If we and our elected officials choose to use it. Just remember the tools in our tool shed. And before anyone accuses me of preaching to the choir, or mansplaining to the politicians in the room, or speaking too bluntly, maybe this speech wasn't meant for you. Maybe it was meant for the young activists who will eventually replace us and our ideas. Maybe it was a message to them that they are welcome in a leftward turning Democratic Party after all. Thank you.
Congratulations, David.